players ready now to jump into Game 3. This is going to be the last game here. Winner take all at the World Championships in the senior division. Tapu Koko and Porygon 2 are the leads for Juyoung from Korea. Arcanine and Tapu Fini are the leads for Yuki, Wata. Again, Misty Terrain is going to be the final terrain to be set up because Tapu Fini is slower, as Arcanine gets to go for and Intimidate onto that Porygon 2 and that Tapu Koko. Not going to matter too much here, as Tapu Fini's Misty Terrain, like I said, will take effect. Porygon 2 is going to be able to get a download boost here, and I believe that was, well, I missed it.
Yeah, okay, so definitely reminiscent of Game 1 here, because Tapu Koko and Porygon are threatening Thunderbolts into the Tapu Fini, but we saw in Game 1 Tapu Fini went for a Protect. You have to imagine, is the same thing going to happen this turn, or do we see some adjustments? Maybe Juyoung rather Volt switching the Arcanine slot to get his Tapu Koko out of there, and then if by chance Arcanine does Protect, preventing Tapu Koko from switching out, it does have the Assault Vest at least to not really, care about Tapu Fini as much, because it's not able to do enough damage to it. So it'll be interesting to see if Juyoung decides to Volt Switch and double into that Tapu Fini slot, or just Volt Switch the Arcanine, try and get his Araquanid in, because Araquanid doesn't really mind Tapu Fini or Arcanine.
Yeah, and boy, this is so tense right now, Ray. This is the final game. There's so many things that could possibly happen, and we're ready to get started. Oh boy. Looks like the attack from Tapu Koko missed. Nature Power is not the most accurate move. It can miss every once in a while. And Nature's Madness, sorry. And Tapu Fini connects with a Muddy Water as well after Arcanine goes for a Flare Blitz into that Tapu Koko slot. That's bulky Tapu Koko, and it hangs on with an accuracy drop on that Porygon 2. Here it comes. It's going to be a Thunderbolt hitting that Arcanine slot. Oh boy, okay, that's not that bad of damage. Yeah,
it was pretty low damage on the Arcanine because of that Assault Vest, and especially outside of the electric terrain. Unfortunately, though, that Nature's Madness missed. It's not 100% accuracy, so it's always risky using that type of move. But that's how things sometimes go. But the Assault Vest definitely paying dividends there. Tapu Koko did hang on, although it is at risk from a potential Extreme Speed, so you do want to get it out of there, even though, you'd love to get an attack off with it. Another attempt at a Nature's Madness, but staring down the Arcanine, you just have to switch it out. And Porygon 2 just not threatening enough damage. Outside of electric terrain, Tapu Fini is too bulky, doesn't care about the Thunderbolt. Arcanine's Assault Vest, it also doesn't care about Thunderbolt.
Oh, there it is. No switch right there. The Extreme Speed connects onto Tapu Koko, and Tapu Koko gets knocked out on Juyoung's side.
Calm Mind.
Calm Mind. Okay. Well, this Tapu Fini is trying to set up here. It's getting a special attack and a special defense boost. Not going to take that much damage from that Porygon 2 anymore. The Thunderbolt connects on that Tapu Fini. It's super effective, but again, that Calm Mind with that special defense boost doing a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely. So Yuki's out to a great position here. Hasn't taken much damage at all, and this Tapu Fini does now have a boost, so it is threatening a lot more damage. Mudsdale coming in, though. While it does threaten physical damage onto the Tapu Fini and good damage against the Arcanine, threatening a super effective hit onto it, unfortunately, speed is not in Juyoung's advantage. You have to imagine he wants to try and get Trick Room up this turn, but with how bulky the Porygon 2 is, will be able to take both attacks from Arcanine and Tapu Fini, so I think you just have to go for the Protect with Mudsdale, try and get Trick Room up, and hope Mudsdale is able to sweep Yuki's team.
And no Protect right there from that Mudsdale. It's going to be a Flare Blitz connecting onto that Porygon 2. Is Tapu Fini trying to double up to get that Trick Room threat off the field? Here comes a Moonblast connecting onto Porygon 2. With that Calm Mind, Porygon 2 so bulky hangs on, and here comes a high horsepower connecting on that Tapu Fini, doing so much damage. Is it going to be enough to activate the berry? No, it's not enough to activate the berry, and here comes Trick Room.
Yeah, that's huge. You get Trick Room up for the Mudsdale, and Porygon 2 is also slower than both of these two Pokemon. So Porygon 2, as long as you can get Arcanine off the field and then bring it back in later, you can avoid the Extreme Speed threat and try and recover up before it takes any damage. Meanwhile, this Mudsdale threatening damage onto both of these two Pokemon. It can decide which one it wants to knock out. And Tapu Fini, like you mentioned, it was big. That Bury did not get triggered, so it's not going to heal back up. Now it's in KO range. However, this Arcanine, if it's predicting Porygon 2 to switch out, might even go for an Extreme Speed into your own Tapu Fini. So we've seen that before.
He's willing to do it.
Yeah, so it again comes down to another mind game.
Yep, is Yuki going to go for an Extreme Speed just to do a little bit of chip damage to proc that berry? We've seen him have the courage to do it before. It's a high-risk, high-reward play sometimes, but in this case, it's very high reward. No, Extreme Speed. High horsepower connects on the top Fini and removes a big threat over on Yuki's side of the field here. So 2 Island Guardian Pokemon have been knocked out, 1 on each side, and Porygon 2 going for a Thunderbolt, gonna hit that Arcanine again. That Assault Vest, so good because it just makes sure that it doesn't do that much damage, and Porygon 2 gets KO'd. So Juyoung now down to his last 2 Pokemon, 3 turns of Trick Room left to operate in, and is that gonna be enough for Juyoung to try to seal the deal, or is Yuki Wata going to go ahead and walk away?
Yeah, I'm starting to think, I wonder if Juyoung wanted his Porygon 2 to get knocked out so that he can take more advantage of Trick Room, since he saw Porygon 2 not doing a whole lot of damage here, would rather sacrifice it, bring a Pokemon in while Trick Room is still in effect, and really threaten out a lot of damage against Yuki's 3 remaining Pokemon, so we'll have to see if that's the case.
And here comes Arcanine over on Juyoung's side with that Intimidate ability as that last Pokemon. It is going to be able to intimidate the Arcanine over on Yuki's side as the Electric Train is going to come out. Mudsdale's high horsepower is enough to KO that Tapu Koko as we saw from the previous game.
Yeah, this is really, really good for Juyoung. He's in a great position, and even if that Kartana's in the back, you have Arcanine around, so I'm really liking this position by Juyoung. I actually love how he sacrificed Porygon 2 that turn to really get his Arcanine in at the same time as Mudsdale, really put a lot of pressure on Yuki. It's going to be really difficult for Yuki to try and stall out Trick Room here. That's really his only way out. He needs to have Kartana and Tapu Koko out on the field with Trick Room not in effect. That way he can threaten a Leaf Blade onto Mudsdale, threaten his Z move onto the Arcanine, but under Trick Room, he's just not able to get that chance because we saw Mudsdale threatens a KO onto Tapu Koko. This Arcanine is intimidated, it's low in HP, not threatening any damage at all. I'm really, really liking this position for Juyoung.
It's even a bulkier variant too, so even the damage output, even if it's not intimidating, not that much. Here comes an extreme speed from that Arcanine, hitting that Arcanine over on Juyoung's side.
And it does connect.
The high horsepower hits that Tapu Koko, gets the KO, and Yuki Wata down to his final 2 Pokemon here. Juyoung's Arcanine now gets to move. It is going to be a Flare Blitz onto Yuki's. It is not intimidated. There was so much damage, but Arcanine over on Yuki's side does hang on with just 3 hit points, so it does have access to 1 more possible extreme speed, and now it comes down to Yuki's last Pokemon as well.
Yeah, but Tapu Fini is already down, and that's the one answer that Yuki has, but no, it's the Kartana.
Oh no!
And it's Choice Scarf, so we know Arcanine is able to pick up the KO. A critical hit extreme speed from Yuki's Arcanine, not going to be enough to take out Juyoung's Arcanine. This game is Juyoung's to lose.
And here we go. This is it, the final turn. It looks like Arcanine on Yuki's side just going for an extreme speed. And no, not enough damage at all. Mudsdale gonna go for that close combat onto that Arcanine. Gets the KO right there. And is this it? Is Mudsdale gonna win that World Championship? Arcanine gets to move right after this. Gonna go for a Flare Blitz right here.
There it is.
Gonna connect, and both players exchange the handshake. And Juyoung Hong of Korea takes home the World Championship with Mudsdale one last ride.
What an incredible set. We saw Juyoung make some key adjustments in Game 2 and Game 3. He played that perfectly. We saw just how crucial Mudsdale was in Game number 2 and 3. We saw Araquanid play a huge role in Game number 2, decided to sub it back out once it did its job. He felt like Yuki was going to make an adjustment to that Araquanid. Man, what a series.
Yeah, and Yuki, you know, coming from Japan after a top 4 finish in the 2016 Japanese Nationals, finishing in 2nd place in the 2016 World Championships. Unfortunately for Yuki, finishes here at